Years before they met, Lev and Talia Voskoboynik were fairly typical California teens, but Lev experienced an outdoor camp run by C-Teen, a worldwide Chabad Jewish youth organization.
Those 2 weeks changed my life forever.
Talia attended C-Teen as well.
And it was exactly what I was looking for. It was real, raw Judaism.
Which led to college in Texas with Chabad on campus Shluchim.
Little did I know how much of an impact they would have in my life.
At every point along their paths, there were Chabad Shluchim inspiring Talia and Lev.
All of these shluchim were incredibly inspirational for me, and I looked at them and I really just saw, I want to do this one day.
I'm Gary Wallach, and this is Lamplighters, stories from Chabad emissaries on the Jewish frontier. Life as a Chabad emissary is often joyous, but it can be unpredictable and even dangerous. Chabad has become a ubiquitous presence in every corner of the world. But behind every Chabad house are emissaries, regular people, striving to transcend their circumstances, and a community that supports and relies on them. These are their stories. Back to our story in a moment, but first, I'd like to tell you about a great opportunity. You can partner with Lamplighters in sharing stories of Chabad emissaries doing amazing work all over the world. Please consider dedicating an episode. You can email us at podcast@lubavitch.com to explore dedication opportunities. That's podcast@lubavitch.com. You can also let us know how we're doing and about the shluchim you think we should consider for upcoming episodes. Please rate and review Lamplighters to make it easier for other podcast listeners to find us. Lamplighters is a project of Machne Israel, the social services arm of Chabad Lubavitch. For bright, talented, outgoing, and athletic teens, growing up in California can seem ideal. Just ask Lev Voskoboynik.
Baseball, football, basketball, soccer. As I got to high school, I right away joined the varsity tennis team and eventually became one of the leading players.
When he was 16, Lev was a city champion in Los Angeles. He was written up in the local newspapers, and he enjoyed the accolades.
I was overall academically very successful, looking to grow and go to a nice college. Things were getting exciting for me in life.
But lurking just beneath this otherwise happy surface was the nagging feeling that something was missing, at least when it came to Jewish life.
Our family was traditional in the sense that we celebrated holidays, no kosher, not really going to synagogue ever, really, besides twice a year. It wasn't really a very active involvement in Judaism.
Lev did attend Hebrew school, and he had a bar mitzvah.
But I was just like unfortunately, most of the Jews in America, where the bar mitzvah means their graduation from Judaism.
At the same time, just north of L.A., Talia Voskoboynik was, in some ways, having a similar experience, although she wasn't into sports. Talia says she and her two siblings did have a fairly strong Jewish background, but her family's commitment was incomplete.
We had Friday night Shabbat dinner. After that, we turned on the TV. We didn't understand the concept really of keeping Shabbat. We had bar and bat mitzvahs, but I wasn't really fully understanding and connecting to what it means to be a strong, proud Jew and why we're here as Jewish people, what our purpose is. I felt like something was missing, and I also felt like I wasn't getting answers that I was satisfied with. So that's when I kind of realized that my life and my Judaism needed a shift.
That shift began in 2015, courtesy of Rabbi Aryeh and Rebbetzin Leah Lang at Chabad of Camarillo. 16-year-old Talia and her family went for a Friday night Shabbat dinner there.
And Rabbi Lang happened to mention that, there's a C-Teen chapter opening up 20 minutes down the road. I think you would really enjoy it. You should definitely go.
C-Teen is the Chabad Teen Network, a global Jewish youth organization with over 800 chapters in 64 countries worldwide. The local chapter was run by Chabad of Conejo Shluchim Rabbi Mendy and Mushka Friedman.
So I went to the C-Teen kickoff event that they had, and it was incredible. Everyone was so warm and welcoming, and it was exactly what I was looking for. It was real, raw Judaism, which I didn't feel like I had gotten before.
In early 2016, when she was a high school junior, Talia attended her first C-Teen Shabbaton in New York. There, Talia and 15 of her fellow C-Teen members from California joined with Jewish kids from all around the country.
The energy was surreal. 2,000 other Jewish teens who had tons of Jewish pride and excitement. If I remember correctly, I'm pretty sure I turned off my phone that Shabbat. I can't remember. But I do remember having an incredible Shabbat experience in Crown Heights. Families in Crown Heights opened their homes to a bunch of teens they didn't know. It was really, really a special experience that I really had never had before.
Talia attended the C-Teen Shabbaton in Crown Heights again during her senior year of high school. Around the same time, Lev Voskoboynik was getting pressure from his parents. They weren't Jewishly observant, but they did insist on one thing.
They wanted me to find a nice Jewish wife, and that was something which was definitely not on my priority list. And I think it really motivated them to want me to like Judaism more. And so they forced me to go to this camp called C-Teen Extreme.
Chabad of Northridge Shluchim Eli and Tzipi Rivkin helped sign Lev up.
This 2-week summer camp where we do a lot of extreme trips, zip lining, whitewater rafting, all these amazing trips with public school teenagers. They taught us that you could pray in English. One of my biggest barriers with Judaism is I really felt that even if I wanted to connect to God, I simply couldn't. I didn't understand Hebrew. And when they taught us you could pray in English, it opened my eyes to the fact that I, at my level, with my language, could talk to God, could have a relationship with God. And for me, that was a transformative trip. Those 2 weeks changed my life forever.
When Lev returned home, he was wearing a kippah and tzitzis and wrapping tefillin every day. He kept kosher, and he stopped using his phone on Shabbos. But that created some tension. When he returned home,
to my surprise, my parents were not the happiest with the things that I'd taken on.
His grandparents felt the same way, but Lev stuck with the program.
It was the first time I really felt proud as a Jew in my life, walking around, not being scared of what others would say.
When it came time for college, Talia had options. One of them seemed most right to her.
I grew up in California my whole life, but I always had this excitement and desire to be in Texas, even though I had never visited. In high school, I was very into country music and I drove a truck, and so I always had this excitement to be in Texas.
Texas A&M hadn't been on Talia's college radar until she met Yossi and Manya Lazaroff at the C-Teen Leadership Retreat in 2015.
That summer, they brought Rabbi Yossi and Manya Lazaroff from Texas A&M. I just felt this overwhelming warmth and excitement, and I loved their very Texas vibe that both of them had. And of course, little did I know how much of an impact they would have in my life. After I met them, I knew I had to visit the campus to see if I would connect with the campus as much as I did the Shluchim. And Baruch Hashem, I did. I really loved the campus. I went to visit the Chabad for Friday night Shabbat dinner to really see if I would connect with the Jewish students.
Talia did, and she says she loved that. She began her freshman year at Texas A&M in August 2017.
So that was, I would say, the biggest turning point in my journey was in the first semester of college.
She got involved right away with the school's Chabad on campus, run by the Lazaroffs.
They didn't have to go looking for me on campus. I showed up right away.
Talia joined Sinai Scholars. She used every winter and summer break for intensive Jewish learning. She dressed more modestly. She observed Kashrus and Shabbos in deeper and more meaningful ways. Manya Lazaroff encouraged Talia to help prepare and run Shabbos meals.
She encouraged me to dip my toe in the water as a shlucha in training, in a way, to be a leader, to think of the girls and to be there for them and make sure that they were all feeling included and welcome.
When Lev had entered C-Teen Extreme Camp, he was a high schooler being courted by top colleges with highly ranked tennis programs. By the end of camp, his priorities had drastically changed. He looked for a yeshiva geared to Baalei Tshuva, but there wasn't one in California. Lev's parents didn't want him to leave the state, so in the summer after his junior year, he decided to try Or Elchanan Chabad Yeshiva in L.A. In an extraordinary juggling act, Lev excelled there in a very challenging curriculum not designed for newcomers. He completed his senior year of high school online while attending yeshiva part-time.
And I would say that month of yeshiva really changed my trajectory, and I really felt for the first time that this is where I belong, with other Lubavitchers, with other Chassidim.
Lev studied full-time over the next 6 years at yeshivas in L.A., Toronto, Connecticut, and New York. He earned rabbinic ordination in March of 2021 and a bachelor's degree in Talmudic studies from Ohalei Torah that May. Lev went out on Merkos Shlichus all over the country. He especially liked working with Rabbi Shmuel Teichtel at Arizona State and Hershey Gurari at Penn State. Gurari had been one of Lev's C-team counselors, but Lev says he appreciated everyone he met.
All of these shluchim were incredibly inspirational for me, and I looked at them and I really just saw, I want to do this one day.
Talia had begun working for a California accounting firm 2 years before graduation. The firm offered her a job, which she accepted.
My parents raised us with the very American mentality of you get a good, well-paying job and you make a living and you provide for your family.
But she also wanted a family of her own to provide for, so she began the process of shidduchim.
And the winter before I graduated was actually when my husband was suggested.
Talia's friend, Texas A&M shlucha Manya Lazaroff, knew about Lev, who was teaching at a masivta in New Haven, Connecticut. She told Talia about him during her final semester.
January was when we met. February was when we got engaged. March was when we got married.
Wow, what took so long?
I know. We dated for 2.5 weeks.
Talia and Lev Voskoboinik were married in March of 2022. Talia finished her final semester of studies online and graduated a couple months later with a master's degree in accounting.
Very practical degree, so definitely not on the track of shlichus at the time.
Right after their wedding, the Voskoboiniks moved to Crown Heights. Rabbi Lev taught at Ohalei Torah, and Talia worked with special needs children at the nonprofit Yeled Vayalda. Unfortunately, while in Crown Heights, the Voskoboiniks lost their first child during birth.
We went through a very difficult time trying to understand, why did God do this? What's the meaning behind all of this?
Lev and Talia found the meaning they were looking for.
We needed to restart. We need to change the world. We need to go on shlichus.
The Voskoboiniks had heard about a 2-year Chabad on Campus pilot program,
where they basically would pair experienced Chabad on Campus shluchim that have been on campus for many years with young couples. So we applied for this program and we got accepted.
And we just said we're doing it. All the negative energy that we dealt with from losing our child, we decided we're going to take and transform and use it to help other Jews and inspire college students.
The program paired the Voskoboiniks with Rabbi Zalman and Rebbetzin Nechama Teichtel at the University of Kansas in Lawrence.
It was one of the greatest years.
The Voskoboiniks were heavily involved in student engagement. They helped out with Friday night Shabbos meals, afternoon minyans, and with all sorts of programs and holiday celebrations.
And Baruch Hashem, after that year, we learned a lot, which just solidified our excitement more for going on shlichus and opening up our own Chabad on campus.
The Voskoboiniks were so excited by that idea that they cut their 2-year residency in half.
So after that year, we actually heard that Milwaukee was looking for campus shluchim.
Rabbi Chesky and Rebbetzin Dovi Thaler had just left the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee, and Chabad of Wisconsin saw the opportunity to reach even more students. The plan was to bring UWM students together with students at Marquette University, Milwaukee School of Engineering, Milwaukee Area Technical College, and the Medical College of Wisconsin. The Voskoboiniks first visited Milwaukee in December 2023.
We absolutely loved it.
And after our quick, short 48-hour visit, we made the decision that this is where we want to go.
Lev and Talia moved to Milwaukee permanently in July 2024, taking up residence at the Rohr Chabad house there.
So it definitely is an interesting community. We have a very unique shlichus in the sense that we have 5 major universities that are all within about 20 minutes of each other. And obviously, University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee is our largest one. There's about 750 Jews. And the other 250 are kind of scattered amongst the other universities. But really, our job is to unite them all together, to make the students feel like they're all one family.
To that end, Talia and Lev worked social media and canvassed the 5 campuses they serve. Ross Abrams heard about new shluchim arriving in Milwaukee when the news popped up on his Instagram feed. It was from an account called Jewwalkie. The Voskoboyniks invited Ross to Chabad on Campus Milwaukee's first official event, a fall semester kickoff barbecue. He went.
It was kind of funny because they weren't fully moved in yet, so there was like no furniture around it, really just like a table with hamburgers and hot dogs and everything. But it was nice to have maybe 15 Jewish students. Probably I've met less than that previously, and to see that they're all from campus around was pretty cool.
Joey Maurer is a junior at UW Milwaukee. She's studying finance and accounting. Joey arrived on campus 2 years ago, not thinking too much about having a Jewish experience on campus.
I'm in my own bubble. I get to go party, I'm in college. I ended up just not really doing anything Jewish necessarily on campus, other than me just being Jewish on campus.
But one October day in 2024, on Sukkot, Joey was walking down a staircase at the Student Union. She saw a guy in a hat and a beard walking up the stairs, holding an esrog and lulav.
I was like, that guy just looks like a rabbi.
And I noticed a girl who gave me a look. That could be one of 2 things. Either they really don't want to see you, or they really do want to see you. And maybe she's a Jew. Maybe I awoke something in her soul. And so I went up there. I said, hey, how are you? My name is Rabbi Lev. Are you a Jewish student here? She said, yes, I am. She said, I've actually been meaning to come to you guys, but I've never actually gotten the courage to show up. I said, well, we now came to you. We're here meeting you now. We're here for you.
Rabbi Lev invited Joey to the Voskoboyniks sukkah the next day. Joey accepted.
And like, I remember on my walk over, I was like, why am I here? Why am I going here? Like, what am I doing? I called my grandmother. I tell her, I'm like, I'm going to like a Jewish thing. She goes, oh, I just Venmoed you $20 then for after, so go have fun. And I was like, oh, so she wants me to go. Like, so I went. I told myself, I was like, okay, I'm going to spend an hour and a half here.
Joey says she arrived at 7 o'clock.
I talked to my Rebbitzin, and she was just very warm and welcoming. And I think that's probably what got me to sit down and like stay. I don't think I left till 12. And yeah, it was just a very, very good night.
Joey, she ended up coming the next Shabbat, had an incredible experience. And ever since that Shabbat, she's been coming here every single week.
Joey took every class offered at Chabad on Campus Milwaukee last year. She says she now keeps Shabbos and keeps kosher. She recently went on a summer program in Utah called Sun and Study, run by Rabbi Manas Friedman's Beis Chana Seminary.
And she has completely transformed her life. And it's all from the one time that I bumped into her on campus.
And I'm glad I did.
Each of the students I talked with about Chabad on Campus Milwaukee told me they feel that Lev and Talia's background, experience, and age helps them connect with college students. Like Sophie Edelstein, a UW Milwaukee junior studying to be a sonographer or ultrasound tech.
I definitely think they kind of understand where we're coming from, what we're feeling, what we're going through, because they're either currently going through it or recently went through it.
The fact that they're Bali Tshuva, they understand where a lot of students are coming from.
Talia did go to college, so, it's much easier, I feel, for them probably to relate to college students. They're not too much older than us.
I mean, Lev has more energy than most college students I know. They are super energetic, super outgoing, super go-get 'em. I mean, their events started taking off pretty quickly after the first couple events.
There were 6 students at the Voskoboyniks' first Friday night Shabbos dinner, but attendance quickly grew.
And it's really beautiful to see every Friday night, 40 to 50 students sitting at a Friday night meal here at Chabad, connecting regardless of school, regardless of age. We have students here that are in Marquette Law School connecting with students in undergrad at UWM. We have an engineering student at MSOE who became best friends with someone at a technical college.
Chabad on Campus Milwaukee's first year of programming was impressive by any measure. Sinai scholars in Jewish U classes and lunch and learns on the weekly Parsha. There are Friday night services.
We started our first week here in Milwaukee with 6 students, and we ended our last Shabbat with 62.
And then just like their general programming, they'll have like barbecues, they'll do like holiday stuff, obviously, Hanukkah parties, Purim parties.
With the encouragement of the Voskaboyniks, Sophie attended a Shabbaton in New York last November and went on a student trip to Poland with Living Links. But one of Chabad on Campus Milwaukee's most popular programs is one they started back home.
We have a beautiful program which is loved by the students, loved by the parents, loved by the university, which is our Chicken Soup Express program, where anytime a student is sick, they can text a certain number and they get a free hot matzo ball soup to their door.
So whether it be they're, not feeling well physically or they're not feeling well emotionally, we're definitely there with a hot bowl of matzo ball soup.
And we actually try to involve students. So we have students delivering soup for other students.
Those homey touches are perhaps more important than ever, because Jewish college students are now dealing with so much: anti-Israel, pro-Hamas protests, illegal encampments, and anti-Semitism in various forms.
Anti-Semitism, I hate to say it's a thing.
Yeah, so I think the elephant in the room is all the anti-Semitism going on, the extreme anti-Semitism right now. It's disheartening for sure.
Someone spray painted a mural of a Jewish star with a black swastika over it, a couple blocks away from me. But Lev and Talia were still there to give me that Jewish place to still try to connect with Judaism, no matter how hard it may be.
Rabbi Lev quotes an interesting statistic. The biggest reason why students drop out is not poor academics or lack of funds. It's because students don't feel they belong. Joey Maurer says she struggled with this in her freshman and sophomore years, until she met the Voskaboyniks.
I was going to transfer. I was ready to leave Milwaukee at the beginning of this year. I was like, I'm done with this. I don't like being here. I don't like the people here. They're openly anti-Semitic. And without Chabad on campus, I definitely would have transferred. I had a plan in action. So if I hadn't met them, I would be somewhere else.
Sometimes this feeling of not belonging stems from a much more serious problem.
Unfortunately, many of our students struggle with mental health.
So the Voskaboyniks made that a priority. They offered a course on mental health, and they estimate that they each did hundreds of hours of sit-down counseling in their first year.
Everything from self-esteem and confidence and breakups and social pressures, academic pressures, parental pressures. It's important for them to know that we can be there for them, not only in their Jewish journeys, but also just as a whole person.
Rabbi Lev tells the story of one student who really struggled.
We had a student, let's call him Jacob, just for the sake of not sharing his real name, and he was really going through a difficult time. He didn't even want to tell his parents.
Lev spent many hours counseling Jacob. After one very difficult conversation,
I wrote him a small note that says, you matter to me, and I signed on the bottom, Lev.
And Lev urged him to seek professional help, but
about 2 months ago, he actually had attempted suicide.
Jacob survived. Rabbi Lev has urged him to utilize the resources available to him on campus, and he stays in close touch.
2 days ago, I was visiting his apartment to put up a mezuzah in his dorm room, and I looked at his fridge, and I noticed on his fridge is my little note that said, you matter to me, from Lev. He said, Rabbi, I want to tell you, every single day I wake up in the morning and I look at your note, and I remember that there's a reason why I'm alive, and that there's somebody in this world who thinks I matter.
The Voskaboyniks are now in full swing in their second year. Last year, they reached well over 100 Jewish students, but they want to reach more. So they recently added a new staff member.
A lot of our students have bonded with our son, Mendel, who's now really becoming the next shliach here already.
The Voskoboiniks are adding new programs for Jewish students this academic year, a student board, a Jewish business network, and programs on Israel education and suicide prevention. It's all happening so quickly, just like the whirlwind stories of how the Lubavitcher Rebbe plucked Talia and Lev out of their old lives and dropped them into new ones.
The biggest thing we specifically learned from our own journeys is that really one person could have such ripple effects. The shluchim who we came into contact with had such a massive impact on our lives, not only inspired us and excited us to take on Torah Judaism as a wholehearted lifestyle, but also to go forward and give to others.
That ripple effect has also made an impact on the Voskoboiniks' families. After Talia was engaged, her mother joined her in a mitzvah for women.
A week and a half before my wedding, when she actually went to pick up her sheitel that she bought, she started covering her hair with a sheitel fully. And my mother actually fully koshered the kitchen. Chalav Yisrael, new dishes, everything.
Rabbi Lev has had a similar impact on his own family.
My father's now fully observant, and my family is incredibly involved in our shlichus and our Judaism.
Rabbi Lev's parents and grandparents visit Milwaukee from time to time and love connecting with students at Shabbos meals. The same with Talia's parents. Lev says there's a deep lesson to be learned from this about the tension that sometimes arises when children become invested in Torah Judaism.
If it's causing rifts in the family, those things will pass. And I've seen with my own family how my family is completely transformed, and they just have truly embraced everything that we've done.
The Voskoboiniks say this also demonstrates that the Rebbe's vision of caring for every individual Jew has a major effect on everyone with whom shluchim come into contact.
It's powerful to see the influence and the impact widespread that the Rebbe has had, not only on so many Jews and their own Jewish journeys, but also on so many new shluchim going out who either didn't grow up religious or didn't think to necessarily go on shluchus at first.
And we decided that this is something that we want.
But mostly, they say, it's about the students.
We believe in what the Rebbe wants, which is to make God's presence felt everywhere in the world, in every corner, and to make every Jew know that they're loved and cared for.
I think that the impact that we could have on one student could have and will have ripple effects into the future.
That's our goal. That's what we're here for.
I'm Gary Wallach. Thanks for listening to Lamplighters, stories from Chabad emissaries on the Jewish frontier. We welcome your questions and comments about what you've just heard on Lamplighters. Please email us at podcast@lubavitch.com. And if you know of a great story involving Chabad emissaries or the people they inspire, please let us know about them. That's podcast@lubavitch.com. To subscribe digitally to Lubavitch International Magazine or to receive it at your doorstep, please visit lubavitch.com/subscribe. Lamplighters is a project of Machne Israel, the social services arm of Chabad Lubavitch.